Hey Google, turn the lights white. Let us know where you're listening from. Hashtag Funhouse Radio.
Stay calm and breathe in. Raise the flames we believe
Alrighty. Alrighty, hey everyone. So, got some stuff to talk about. So let me know in the chat if it's backwards for you, because on my screen it's showing that the screen is backwards. So if it's backwards for you, just let me know. I can adjust it and everything. I'll get started here in just a minute. I'll tweet out the link one more time. Alrighty, so Lord have mercy. So Microsoft just wrapped up their Windows 11 event, and yeah, we got some stuff to talk about. So after the event, I posted a little bit, a lot of it actually, on Twitter. Be sure to follow me over there if you haven't already. But essentially, I've been kind of talking about, just kind of stuff, about the event, stuff kind of going on in the insider world and in the Windows world in general. So I'll just kind of run down some of the things that I, kind of tweeted about. The first insider build will be available next week. And then the final release of it, or the final RTM release, should be available in the holiday season of this year. So, we're about a little over half a year, or maybe a little under half a year out. So it should be out, very, very soon, which is good. You know, they could have waited until next year to release it, but I am glad. I am glad that they're doing the insider preview thing next week. You know, I mean, I wish that they had started it today, but you know, kind of is what it is. I think after watching a bunch of Apple events and you know getting used to being able to download you know the betas directly after the event, it was kind of a shock to everybody when you know the insider you know builds were going to be released next week. But you know, kind of is what it is. So there's you know there is a new action center, which I did discuss. I posted the picture of it on Twitter. Matter of fact, I think I can actually, since we already have this open, I'll just pull up the picture of the action center. But yes, the action center is brand new. So thank you for liking my tweets and everything, guys. I appreciate it. But yeah, so this is the new Action Center. Obviously, it is heavily influenced from Windows 10X. Pretty much everything here looks directly like it could just be Windows 10X, you know, with a you know new look and everything. Honestly, I really like the look of Windows 10X, so I'm not complaining. But you know, and like I said, I really wanted the new Action Center. I was pretty sure that we were going to get the new Action Center, and since you know, since we didn't get it in this specific beta, this leaked version, you can see I'm running the leaked version right now on my computer. I am kind of glad that we were you know able to get that, or that we have now confirmation that it is coming. You know, so that is a big plus. The other thing is that, of course, the search bar is coming to the start menu as you know, as it is on Windows 10X. I was actually kind of surprised when it didn't appear in this version because of how polished the start menu in this version looks. But you know, I guess that you know it should be coming. It'll be interesting to see kind of what it does. I don't know if it'll just transition you to the search menu like it does now when you start typing in the start menu. So like if I just type in settings, it'll just, I mean, it'll take a minute, but it'll, you know, it'll just switch you over to the settings panel. I don't know if it's going to do that or if it's actually just going to maybe search through your apps. I guess we'll see, you know, obviously next week. And then the other thing is that there is a new design. I don't know what it's called. I guess it's a new material, they're calling it, and it's called mica or mica. But essentially, it is a pastel version of Android 12's Monet theming engine that themes the whole system. But rather than, of course, theming the whole system, it'll just theme, you know, just kind of bits and pieces of it. So we'll definitely see kind of what happens, you know, with the you know first insider preview next week. As disappointed as I am that we aren't getting okay, so the elephant in the room is the TPM thing. The hardware requirements for Windows 11 have changed significantly. And matter of fact, I can actually pull that up right here because I did save it. The hardware requirements, like I said, have changed significantly. And the biggest issue is this right here, this TPM thing. So a lot of Windows, or a lot of devices in general that were released before 2014. This laptop that I'm actually running right now was released in 2013. They don't have TPM 2.0, let alone TPM at all. So if a device that was released after 2014 has TPM, it has to have TPM 2.0. And that wasn't actually, it looks like that didn't even start coming out in devices until late 2018, early 2019. So a lot of devices aren't going to be supported. So I'm kind of seeing now why they were pushing for people to purchase new Windows devices. They were pushing, you know, where you can, let me see, you know what, I have the introducing right here. So it's on pretty much all of the posts that they made about it. They, towards the end, have made this, you know, it's a great time to buy a PC. You should get a new computer. Check out all of these, you know, partners that we have that are going to ship with Windows 11 when it comes out, you know, in the holiday season. So it's, you know, it'll be very interesting to see what kind of comes of that. I think that the TPM requirement is a little bit overkill, or I think it's a lot of it overkill. I'm just going to be 1000% honest. I think that it is way too much. I think that everything else is, it's kind of annoying having to have UEFI, not being able to use 32-bit. I mean, it kind of is what it is. It's annoying, but I feel like considering Windows 10 doesn't even run very well on lower end devices, at least in my experience, I think that some of these requirements kind of make sense. Like I see why they did it, but the TPM thing is just going to be it's just way too overkill. So of course, a lot of people aren't going to be running it on day one. However, that said, considering how quickly Windows 11 or this build of Windows 11 was able to be patched up and installed on non-TPM 2.0 devices, I suspect that it'll probably be the same way with at least the insider builds next week, where you'll be able to just use the Windows 10 installation medium and then just swap out the install.wim or .esd and just kind of install it that way. Hopefully it won't be too big of an issue. Nobody else seems to be talking about it, so I guess enough people have TPM 2.0 that it doesn't really bother them, but I guess we'll see. One thing that we haven't seen yet is if we're going to get a new file explorer. And considering at first I was kind of thinking that they weren't going to release a new file explorer because they didn't show it. I feel like if they were going to release a new file explorer, or at least even a redesign of file explorer, they would at least have shown it. But when I saw that they posted, this picture with the new Action Center, it kind of gave me a little bit more hope, because they didn't talk about it in their presentation, but it's, there's still a good chance that they could, have it, and it's just, they just didn't want to show it off yet, or maybe it's just a minor redesign, and it's not big enough that they wanted to talk about. So I don't know. We'll definitely see in the coming days and weeks. Next week, of course, I'll be downloading the ISO as soon as it comes out. Otherwise, though, of course, the RAM is pretty much the same. I think it was maybe 2 gigabytes before. I'm not positive. And then, of course, 64 gigs. I think the previous storage requirement was like 40 gigs. So it's kind of minor things. The biggest thing here that I've personally seen is the TPM thing, and then UEFI. And then, of course, you only can use a 64-bit processor. All of those, other than the TPM thing, are kind of annoying, but if you can manage to get a computer that matches those requirements, you should be good to go. It's not going to run slowly, it's not going to run poorly because you don't have or because you have only 4 gigabytes in your computer. Like it'll run just fine. And so one other thing that was pointed out to me was, it does say that these are the basic requirements, and generally Microsoft would word it as these are the minimum system requirements. So there is a good chance that these are the minimum system requirements, but it's also possible that the TPM thing might be a situation where it's a recommendation but not a requirement. And if that's the case, that would be a lot better. And I think that Microsoft would get a lot more. They would get a lot more users in that case if they had it to where they would recommend that you have TPM, but it's not required. So I don't know. I don't know what specifically in Windows requires TPM that it's become a requirement for even installing the OS at all. It just doesn't seem. It doesn't seem logical to me. Like it just I don't know. It seems, like I said, like I said earlier, it seems like overkill. So my PC isn't supported to TPM. Yeah, TPM and Safe Boot. So most computers, I don't know what the deal is with Secure Boot. I think that one thing that I noticed when I was installing this this leaked build of Windows 11, I think I've said Windows 10 a couple times. This leaked build of Windows 11 is that when I went to install it, it said that the requirements were that it had to have TPM. It didn't mention anything about secure boot. And so I don't know if that is going to be a requirement or if that's going to be, again, another recommendation, because Windows 10 also had a recommendation for secure boot. It didn't have that for UEFI, but it did have a recommendation for secure boot. So again, I'm sure that it'll probably be a situation where you can patch it back out, or not even it. I say patching, but it's not really patching. You just swap the install file with for the Windows 10 one, and so it has yet to be seen. Kind of what the deal there will be. It was interesting to me though that they did change the display recommendations, and I think that is because. I don't know if you guys caught the stream that I did with Ian. It must have been last week, but when we installed Windows 11 in a VM, when you do the first boot sequence, the out-of-box experience looks super crammed when you don't have a display that fits it. And matter of fact, some elements actually started overlapping. And so I'm wondering if because of that, they, rather than trying to fix it or make the element smaller or whatever, they just decided, well, people should just be running a 720p display, whatever. So yeah, so there might, like I said, there might be a way around it. I highly suspect that there will be a way around it. If I were a betting man, I would say that there's most likely going to be a way around it. I just don't think that they're going to enforce it that hard. And I think that, like Nee said in the chat, they're going to kind of, have to roll back a little bit and kind of rethink that, because not as many people as they think are going to have those requirements. They're not going to meet those requirements. And I don't think people are going to want to update their, or have to buy a completely new computer just because they can't use the latest version of Windows. And so I guess that since they're still supporting Windows 10 until 2025, I guess their thinking is, okay, if we force these requirements now, then people in the future, or people will still have a chance to, update and, get a new computer that does support the requirements. So, well, like I said, it definitely still has to be seen, kind of what will happen. There is a bunch of other stuff down here too. There's, some feature specific requirements. There's 5G support, auto HDR, BitLocker to go. I don't know a whole lot of people that use BitLocker in the first place, so I don't know why you would want it to go, but whatever. Client Hyper-V, Cortana. So one thing that, and I kind of just noticed this, but they actually, I don't remember where I read this, but yeah, so Cortana will no longer be included in the first boot experience or pinned to the taskbar. But then it also says that Cortana requires a microphone and speaker and is currently available on Windows 11. So I guess that means that that Cortana will still be there, but she just won't be as big of a part of the OS. And so, I'm hoping that, I never liked Cortana. I never used Cortana. Matter of fact, for a while, I actually used the Google Assistant on Windows Project, which worked okay, but it's kind of hacky, so is what it is. But yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff here. What I'll do is I'm actually going to post a link to all of the documents that I've saved. It's just these four, but I'm going to post a link to all of these on Twitter, so you guys can take a look at that, and then I guess I can post the link to my Twitter post in the chat. But they actually have a little Q&A that they're doing for Windows 11 Insider builds that they appear not to be replying to yet, but my guess is that they did at least post this. So I guess people that have information on the subject can, at least, give some information as they are able. One thing that kind of interested me was the new widgets panel, which I'll show off here in just a second after I post this. But the new widgets panel is interesting. It seems like they're definitely trying to push MSN to be more than what it should be, considering they keep acquiring companies and then kind of running them down, and then still using the names, and it's all over the place. So we'll kind of have to see what exactly happens with the whole, widgets panel thing. My thing overall is, and I mentioned this earlier, I just really wonder why these requirements have been upped so much, why they've been increased so much more than they would have been, or they were in the past, because I just don't know of anything that Windows needs to do that would require such high system requirements, especially TPM. So I just posted the link to this post right here in the chat, so you guys can take a look at that. One thing that I also did say was that I'm going to be working on my website during this, so I did want to, of course, run down on a couple of these things, and then if you guys have any questions, of course, I'm more than happy to cover it. And I'm going to be talking about Windows 11. That's what this stream is about. But I did want to kind of work on my website a little bit while we're all here, so that's what I'm going to do. So let's do this. To rearrange my screen a little bit here. One thing that I do really like is the way that have you seen the rumors of a bill coming tomorrow? So no, I actually haven't seen that. I suppose it's possible. The biggest thing that I saw was that the first bill is going to be coming this week. I don't know if next week means directly on Sunday, or if it means that they're going to be releasing it in exactly 7 days, or if they're going to release it just sometime next week. Like I said, I guess we'll have to see. I personally don't mind the wait. I don't know why they decided to wait, but it's just it kind of is what it is at this point. I was expecting to have to wait anyway, because of the way that Microsoft has kind of handled things in the past, especially during the initial Windows 10 Insider program, or even back when it was called the technical preview of Windows 10. They had the waiting between builds just kind of felt like it was just months. So I'm sure that there's some final touches that they want to make before they release it. And so, I guess we'll have to see. I'm hoping that they fix some of the bugs and some of the issues and everything, that have been occurring so far. One thing that they did eventually show was that they did redesign the status area, and I kind of recreated a little bit in my own way. But there's going to be like a new clock down here, and then the Action Center button is going to be gone, and it's going to be replaced with these three status area buttons that are going to be grouped, and then you can just click the group itself and it'll expand the Action Center. So I think that that's pretty cool. I think that it's kind of a good way to kind of consolidate everything, kind of get rid of some more, or get rid of the clutter from your taskbar. I do wonder though because from the looks of it, and I showed the image of it earlier, but from the looks of it, it seems like it's going to still have the little pop-up for the extra icons. But I think that what they should have done, or what they should do, they still obviously could, is put the extra status area icons right here, so that way it's all one pop-up, and you don't have to manage multiple pop-ups to do kind of the same thing. So like I said, has yet to be seen. I did get asked about the new store icon. I saw a couple of posts about that, or a couple comments about that. The new store icon is, in my opinion, it looks kind of silly, but it works. It's funny to me because it took them so long to update the store icon, and then they updated it like a couple months ago, but now they're already updating it again. So I don't know if that's to signify that they're recreating the new store, with like the Android apps and everything. And so they want a new icon to show that, it's a new store and everything. But if that was the case, I feel like they could have done something else with the settings app icon too, because that's brand new as well. So if you didn't see the new, or I guess I should go ahead and preface this. I'm sure that everybody that's watching this has at least seen the keynote, but if you haven't, it's all over YouTube and it's all over Twitter at this point. So you can probably find it pretty easily. I mean, literally, it's like right here for me. So, but if you haven't seen the new settings app, what I can probably do is search for it. Let's see, use Yeah, so this is not what it looks like. This is okay. So that's not completely true. So this is actually kind of sort of a little bit what it looks like. This is like an early version of it that was leaked in Windows 10. This is actually kind of more accurate, but it was shown for like a split second in the video for today, and then it was just kind of gone. So I'm probably going to have to go pull up the video in order to find it. But essentially, it has a complete new look. It's very, it's very show based. It's very, I can't think of the word. It's very design based. There's not really any new features in the settings app. It's more just that there's a new look to it. So let me see if I can find the. Let me just search for Windows 11. I want to find the video so I can pull up the. Just if I can get like a frame of it or something. The full screen so you can see it a little better. So let's go through here. I guess we can actually talk about some of the littler things that are in here. So here's another thing. So they are finally bringing the rounded fluent icon glyphs to the taskbar. That was one thing that I had complained about for a while, was that that wasn't actually in there yet. There's that new store icon again that I mentioned. It's got a blue look to it, so I think that was kind of neat. Yeah, so we'll play this and see what it opens. Yeah, all right, so this is kind of what it looks like. So it'll have you can kind of look through things. It looks like they consolidated some of the menus. I'm not positive. They might have consolidated some of the menus a little bit, which no complaints here. I'm gonna check. Have you seen the rumors? Yeah, we mentioned that manufacturing pressure. Yeah, probably with the builds or with the requirements, manufacturer pressure. That would make sense, especially because they're pushing manufacturer support so hard. With the they mentioned during the keynote, and they mentioned it in all of their blogs and press information, that they're partnering with all of these different hardware companies, Dell, HP, Lenovo. They're doing their whole hardware thing, and so that the manufacturing pressure is a good assumption there. I think the rumor came from a presentation where he said, yeah. So that's kind of my biggest guess as to that, is that it's probably just them, just kind of flaunting a little bit and just kind of saying buzzwords and stuff. I doubt that it'll come tomorrow unless it's leaked again, which is, I mean, hell, anything's possible at this point. I didn't expect Windows 11 itself to leak, but there's no telling. So one thing that I was actually kind of interested about was when I saw this. It was a lot to kind of take in at once, because we haven't seen the new settings app yet. But I do wonder what this is. I don't know if it's the Action Center, if it's the Start menu. I don't know what this is supposed to symbolize. I don't know if maybe zooms in a little bit. Yeah, so not really, but this is essentially kind of what the new settings app looks like. It's going to have your sections over here, and then it's going to have like the main window over here. And honestly, I kind of like this a little bit better, because rather than having to go in and out of different menus and go forward and then go back and then go into the menu and then go back out, it's all right here. The menus are right there. The sections are right there. Everything's just kind of laid out for you. And I think that makes a lot more sense especially when you're using a desktop, because you don't have to keep moving your mouse back and forth, if you're going between different sections of settings. And honestly, I mean, I don't know anyone who would be going back and forth between setting sections, but if you're maybe changing your wallpaper and then you want to change the colors and the themes later, whatever, it just kind of makes sense to have that more fluid, that quicker experience. So, but there you go. I'm actually going to screenshot this real quick so I can come back to it later, because I don't want to have to pull this up every time I want to look at the new settings app. So, but they of course did talk about how there's some new themes. There's this, kind of, I don't think that they're necessarily new themes. I think that they're just kind of restructuring the way that the theme previews look, but kind of whatever. I'll be interested to see if they bring the dynamic wallpapers to Windows 11. That'll be very interesting. One thing that I was actually very glad about was seeing that, I don't know if it's in this video, I don't think it is, but the taskbar is going to be on multiple monitors. It is not in this leaked build. The taskbar in this build is only on your main display, and it's not on any of your other displays, which is super annoying, because if you had, like, you know, a window that's, or if you want to open something, you have to go to the first display and then drag it over to the second display. You can't just have it open on, you know, you don't have the taskbar on both displays. So, you know, it has the new automatically adapting taskbar, themes for the keyboard, kind of new stuff. I guess I could just kind of play this and see. I'll just kind of pause. Yeah. Okay. So this was another thing. This kind of pissed me off a little bit. So they have they're flaunting this whole thing where, you know, like their desktops are so much better, and you can change the wallpaper on all of them, you can rename them and everything. But this has already been available in the insider builds for a while, so nothing new there. And as soon as it comes to, and it will come to a build of Windows 10, an RTM build of Windows 10, I'm sure of it, because it's been in the Windows 10 dev builds for a while now, months, if I remember correctly, at least since 2020. So, you know, I don't know why this is such a big deal now, but, you know, cool, I guess. I do like the new transitions that they were doing. This kind of slide transition between, you know, the different kind of glass look. I thought that was kind of cool. They really harped hard on auto HDR, which, you know, I mean, I guess if you are a gamer, or if you know, like the whole content consumption thing, you know, I guess HDR is kind of cool, but, you know, it kind of is what it is. And then one thing that I kind of wanted to touch on was the Android apps thing. So they talked about, they were like, look, we have Android apps, you know, Android apps in the Windows Store. Check all this out, but it's from the Amazon App Store. But we still have Android apps. These are coming from the Amazon App Store, and the Amazon App Store is, from what I've seen, doesn't have nearly as many apps in it as the Google Play Store. Now, I don't know what the deal was, why they couldn't use the Google Play Store. Maybe they just didn't want to. Maybe they couldn't work it out with Google. Who knows? But I think that it'll be interesting to see what apps are actually going to end up being available. I think it would be kind of cool if you could install APKs directly on your computer. I think that would be very cool. But, you know, again, we have yet to see. You know, they had this demo with TikTok. I don't, you know, Microsoft trying to be cool with the kids. And then, you know, kind of back to this, this whole, you know, they're partnering with all these brands, you know, for the hardware, and, you know, you can get Windows 11 on, you know, your favorite, with your favorite manufacturer, and, you know, so that's kind of cool, I guess. There's a new, it looks like the Photos app is also going to be redesigned. That wasn't something that many people talked about, so, but it's going to get a minor redesign, you know, with some new, you know, kind of looks and stuff, some new shadows and stuff. This new kind of split, kind of side-by-side view. And then, you know, I think that's Microsoft Teams. And I wanted to skip ahead a little bit because there is this. So the lock screen is going to be redesigned, and that is not something that's evident here. There was, it must have been during the actual presentation itself, because they did show the new lock screen. The clock is going to be kind of up at the top, and then it's going to kind of be like right around in the same place with the, you know, with the Windows or Hello feature. So that should be pretty cool. You know, new search bar, like I said, on the start menu, Snapgrid stuff. So yeah, I mean, overall, it seems like a pretty good update. I don't think that it, you know, there have been a lot of arguments said, you know, that made about how, you know, should they have made a whole version of Windows for these minor updates? I really don't know why I just minimized that, but should there have been a whole update to Windows, a whole major rename and rebranding and everything just for these little kind of features. But I think that kind of what they're doing is, because they canceled Windows 10 X and they're bringing so many features over to Windows 10, I think that that's the biggest reason why, or I guess to Windows 11. I think that that's why they're probably calling it Windows 11, is because it has like the DNA of both Windows 10 and Windows 10 X, and they're kind of combining that into Windows 11. So that should be pretty cool. Yeah, the widgets panel. I don't know why they're pushing this so hard. I mean, kind of cool, I guess. It's interesting. What's really interesting to me is how quickly they were able to change it from literally just the news or the features. What do they call it? News and interest, I think. How quickly they changed it from news and features. This is literally just a WebKit view, by the way. It's like just a transparent view, like they block like right clicks, but that's all this is. It's just like a web view in this little glass panel. But it's interesting to me how quickly they changed the news and interest thing to a full blasted Windows widgets kind of thing. I don't think that it's necessarily widgets, so to speak. It's just kind of like it just some kind of glanceable information, which I guess is what widgets is. But I don't know. It kind of seems a little gimmicky. I'm not gonna lie. It seems gimmicky, but I guess developers will kind of have to take a look at it and see what they can do with it. Once it comes out in beta next week. So the redesigned Microsoft Store is actually really nice. I personally really like it. And I've mentioned this on Twitter, I love the rounded corners everywhere in the new OS. I think that it is super, super sexy. And then, of course, they're kind of redesigning everything here. They're redoing the title bar with a new they have this new look where in previous versions of, I can actually open the store right now and just kind of show you, but they had the name up here, but they didn't have the icon. But yet, like, if you go to like File Explorer, they have the icon and then the name. So I guess my guess here is that the update. My guess as to what they're doing is they're trying to make the kind of experience more universal. Having the icon up there with the title bar, like the name, and then of course the window buttons, and then they're integrating more stuff into the title bar. So like you can have like the search there, and then you have like your profile information, your account information, and then they've kind of redesigned other things like the new sidebar that has like labels to it, and kind of like floating action buttons. Honestly, I love the new look. I honestly have no complaints. I think that for people that use the store often, and I think that as more people use the store now that they're adding kind of more stuff to it, I think that it's going to be a great place to get apps without having to go online and download them. Of course, Spotify, Twitter, Visual Studio Code, which I'm personally using right now. I don't know what the deal is with Adobe Creative Cloud. I don't know kind of what the situation there will be. I don't know if it's going to be a situation where it's going to be like the ARM version of it, if it's going to be the watered down version of the Adobe apps. Again, we'll have to see next week. But here's to hoping that it's the full version of the Adobe apps, because I think that would be way better than having to the way that you have to kind of download Adobe apps right now is you have to download Creative Cloud first, and then that in and of itself is a process, because having to go to like the Adobe website and then sign in and so on and so forth, it's just kind of a mess. So being able to download it straight from the store is going to be kind of cool. So there you go. And then that's pretty much it for Windows 11. There's kind of a refocus on design. They're changing like the little things. They of course brought the rounded corners everywhere, and they've brought the Fluent System icons everywhere. Although this image alone just kind of shows that about the inconsistencies, because there's the square maximize icon here, and then there's the rounded one for Edge. So, Microsoft is, I guess Windows 10 was never known for its consistency. Matter of fact, it was known for its inconsistencies. So I guess Windows 11 just is a big upgrade in that department for more inconsistencies in Windows. So with that said, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the chat. Now I'm just going to be kind of harping about the whole requirements thing. Let me check the chat real quick. So hello. I like how they're kind of, yeah. So we were talking about that earlier, the whole TPM thing. You know, I'm more than positive that it's going to be, you know, like I said earlier, it's going to be a situation where you're going to be able to kind of do the same thing you were able to do with this leak build, where you can just kind of move the installation files a little bit and, you know, just install it like normal. And my guess is that honestly, people that were able to install the current, you know, leaked build will probably be able to upgrade to the insider builds next week. I'm more than positive of that. If there's going to be any issues, it's going to be because Microsoft has actually forcefully said you cannot do it. And I suppose that it is possible that they could do that, but I doubt it. I just don't see them going that far. But, you know, like I said, we'll see. So, as for the compatibility thing, everybody's is saying that it's incompatible. You know, my computer isn't compatible either because of the TPM thing. I don't even have Secure Boot enabled, but even if I did have it enabled, I don't think it would change anything. I have 16 gigs of RAM and 128 gig SSD, but you know, if I go here, it still doesn't, you know, meet the requirements. So it's the TPM thing. You know, we'll see. And by the way, I did find the Windows 11. There is a link right here, so if you click it, let's see. Of course, it doesn't want to load now, but if you click it, earlier this link would not come up. As a matter of fact, this is actually new. So yeah, so this is just another thing. Although I did see this earlier, and matter of fact, I saved this icon because I like it so much. But you know, there's not really anything here that we didn't already know. They do have some Q&A down here, some stuff about, you know, what you can you know, if my computer is compatible. And it's kind of funny because it actually says, so there's one. Let me see. Can I continue to use Windows 10? Okay, so can a really old PC run Windows 11? You can use the PC Health Checker app to determine if many PCs that are less than 4 years old will be able to upgrade to Windows 11. That's because they have TPM2. That is not a really old computer. That is a TPM2 compatible computer. You are stupid. Ugh. You can tell I'm mad about this. I ranted about it on Twitter. I'm so pissed about the TPM thing. It's so stupid and so over. I'm very disappointed in my that on their users. You know, it's disappointing that you have a whole new computer with a security chip just to be able to use their OS. Like it's just disappointing. And it was super insulting, and I posted this, you know, over here, but it's super insulting because they actually, in the Windows Insider Update blog, they posted that we invite PCs that do not meet the the hardware requirements for Windows 11 to join the release preview channel for Windows 10. Suck my dingling. That is stupid. That is insulting. That is, it's just, ugh. I don't even have words for how insulting, stupid, and annoying that is. Like that's like, oh my god, that is annoying. So, and then they have this stupid chart, which I'm going to let you guys take a look at while I turn off my AC because it is fucking cold in here. But they have this, this chart, which, demonstrates who will be able to, upgrade to, Windows 11. And, you know, from the existing Windows 10 Insider Preview. And it says that if you meet the requirements for the minimum requirements for the Windows Insider program, you can upgrade. But when Windows 11 officially releases, they're going to boot you back to Windows 10. Just let that sink in. Like they're going to let you use Windows 11 in beta until it comes out. in final, and then boot you back to Windows 10. What a fucking dick move. Like, I don't know what their thought process here was. Everything up until this point pissed me off, but it was like, you know, at least they had reasoning for it. This is like, I don't know whose idea this was. Like, I don't know what drugs they're taking, but like, they need to be fired, because that's the stupidest thing I have ever heard. So I don't know. And you know, they have this little warning here: installation on PCs with Windows 11 hardware requirements, or below the Windows 11 hardware requirements, can degrade experience, whatever. But we've been running it's just Windows 10. That's all it is. It's just Windows 10 with some new features and changes. That's it. That's all it is. So I don't know. I guess my guess as to why they're forcing these hardware requirements is to justify it's either a situation where Windows they decided to give Windows a new name so they could justify the hardware requirements, or they decided to up the hardware requirements to justify a new version of Windows. And either way, it's stupid, but you know, it's just stupid. That's all it is. That's all it is just stupid. So I kind of stopped posting, you know, after we went live. I of course posted this, but yeah, I'm very disappointed in Microsoft today, you know, for not, you know, changing the whole, okay, now this I did not see. Now this is fascinating. Well, if it says app title right there, that's kind of interesting. Give me a second to pull this up. I want to take a look at this because I didn't see this. I did see that Nee posted in the chat, so I wanted to take a look at that. Don't actually need TPM to install from it. Yeah, I do want to know where you found that, because that's not what any of the Microsoft documentation has said so far. But I want to see where. Let me speed this up because they're just talking a lot. It's funny how they're like they went back here and then she like drew this like start menu, but you know that that's not how it worked. They took the Windows 10X start menu, they changed a couple of teeny tiny things and brought it to Windows 11. That's it. That's all they did. Shut up. Rounded corners, yeah. New looks for everything, yeah. Shadows, transparency. Okay, so the file explorer. So it does look slightly different. Looks like it definitely is a little bit more modern. And of course they have the new, you know, Fluent system icons down here. Let me see if I can do this. Do 1080 because that's, you know, I mean, I'm only using a 1080p display, but I don't think it'll look any better if I go higher than that. So, yeah. So I mean, they have like a couple things, but it doesn't. I don't know. I mean, they have like new icons and stuff. I am glad that they upgraded it, but it definitely looks like it's more of a, you know, kind of minor release than anything else. Although I am seeing, if I'm seeing this right, I can't seem to get a frame where it's not blurry, but it looks like, and this is kind of cool, it looks like the app title is at, or the title bar is going to slide up because this corner is still rounded. So it looks like it's going to slide up, and then the actions are going to appear, which is kind of neat. My thing is, though, I wonder if it's going to be a situation where the right-click menu is going to be replaced with this bar, because if that's the case, that's going to piss a lot of people off. I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think that it's just because they're demonstrating like touch, but you know, I guess we'll see. Edge looks exactly the same. Now, PowerPoint does look different, and they did announce the insider preview for PowerPoint 2021 or 2022, so that's pretty cool. New Fluent System icons, saw these for the most part. Hello, Kathy. Of course, their new font that they're implementing literally everywhere. Wallpapers. It's funny because I guess I could be wrong, but some of these are definitely available in this build. And matter of fact, I can pull those up real quick. I don't know if all of them are available in this build, though. So let me go to... And then, oh, yeah, if you guys didn't already know, you can go to See Windows Web and find all of the new wallpapers, as well as the touch keyboard wallpapers. So that's what those look like. And I'll pull this up. Excuse me. I thought they had a view that looked kind of similar to, maybe I'm just imagining it. But yeah, I'll pull up the preview pane so I can kind of show these a little bit. But the touch keyboard wallpapers are super, super pretty. You know, and they're only in 1080p, I think, but I can upscale that. Like if, oh no, they're actually in, well, that's still not that much higher than 1080p. But if you guys are at all interested, I could actually upscale these. I doubt that anyone would really want that, but you know, I could. But there's of course light and dark versions of all of these. So there's this one, which is, you know, of course in light mode, and then there's the dark mode version of it. There's this one, 2 and 2, 3 and 3. So those look pretty cool. I actually put those on the Windows 10X emulator on my website a few weeks back. So, you know, if you want to check that out, you can. But we'll take a look through here. So, of course, they have the light and dark mode version of the new Windows wallpaper. There's the new sunrise wallpaper. The new glow. Honestly, I think these are really pretty, but I like having a light and a dark mode version of my wallpapers, so I decided not to use those, but, you know, of course you can. Okay, yeah, so these are in here. So it's definitely interesting. I love these new wallpapers. This looks like a potato chip. So does this, but like a pink one. I thought that was kind of very hilarious, but, you know, that is in there. But I do really like the new wallpapers. I think that they are super, super pretty. Of course, there's these ones as well. I think these are actually the lock screen wallpapers, if I'm not... Well, I don't know. That might not be right. I think these are the lock screen wallpapers, because this one's definitely on the lock screen. But I haven't seen some of these other ones, so I don't know. I'm not positive, but of course, there's the 4K version of the Windows ones. These should be in full 4. Oh, well, it says 4K, and then this is 1920 by 1200. So I don't know, but there you go. So yeah, overall, that's pretty much it for Windows 11. Like I said, there's, you know, everything that you could pretty much want to see should be, you know, either here or like in the videos that Microsoft is releasing. The Windows Insider program is also releasing some new videos and stuff. So you'll definitely be able to see some new, you know, stuff as it is all released. if there's anything new, of course, I'll update you all on Twitter. For right now, I'm actually probably going to head off because I've been streaming for, a little over an hour. So I think that is going to pretty much be it for right now. I'm going to maximize my face because that's what I do. Yeah. All right. So thank you all for joining me in the ranting and raving 11. Next week, of course, we will see the very first insider preview of it. At least we should anyway. I don't know when or what time or what day next week, but we should see it sometime next week. Of course, you will hear from me as soon as it is released, because as it is released, I'm going to be attempting to install it on at least this unsupported device. I was going to say as many unsupported devices as I can, but this is really the only one that I have that I could even install it on. So of course, I'm going to try to install it on here, and you guys will hear from me about it. But if you have any questions or comments, of course, leave them over on Twitter. You can check out the replay of this live stream over on YouTube when it is released. I'm actually going to edit it down a little bit because, of course, there was a lot of ums and uhs throughout. So, of course, I'll edit it down a little bit. But if you guys have any questions, like I said, let me know on Twitter. Thank you all for joining the stream. I appreciate it. I loved hanging out with you guys and talking about Windows 11. It should, overall, despite the hardware requirements, it does look, it's a very pretty release. I love the visual overhaul. I love a good redesign. I've always said that. So, we'll definitely see what happens next week, and then of course into the end of the year with Windows 11. So thank you all for joining, and I will see you in the next live stream /video. So peace.